Hi, you've accepted the Clear Vision 2020 challenge that will help you make more money, supercharge yourself and your team, and have your most profitable year in 2020. You probably weren't aware of it, but in every story you've ever read and every movie you've ever watched, there was a formula that was used. All of our modern day tales stem from classic story theory, which is actually over 2,500 years old and comes from Aristotle's Book of Poetics. Of course, as the audience, we don't actually feel that every story is a formula, and that's because writers are super creative people, and they artfully weave the story through the formula. However, in every story that captivates you and brings you in, a few things do happen pretty quickly. First, a main character is introduced, and we call that character the hero. Contrary to what you'd think, the hero doesn't wear a cape. In story theory, the hero is actually the weakest character in the story. They're uncertain of themselves, and when they are introduced, they don't have the skills to overcome the next element of the formula, the problem. The problem is the linchpin of every story. The writer has to be sure that the audience knows what the problem is and show that the hero is incapable of overcoming it at first. And the problem has to be really defined. It has to be really defined because it posits the story question. Will the hero get what they want? Then the rest of the book or movie is spent having the hero try to solve their problem. Other characters enter into the story, and we are usually captivated for a few hundred pages or about 2 hours. And within 5 minutes of starting that movie or a few chapters of the book, if the character want or the problem they are trying to solve isn't clearly defined, you lose the audience. So it has to happen really quickly. But here's the thing about the problem, and especially for marketing purposes. Not only does it have to be defined, but you have to focus on one and only one problem at a time. Think about all of the services you offer. Many companies are tempted to talk about all that you do and all of the problems that you solve. If you solve 57 problems for your customers, that's great, but you can't talk about them, not all in one piece of marketing collateral. Think about it. If Jason Bourne wanted to find out who he is, and lose 30 pounds, and adopt a cat, and marry the girl, they'd lose the audience. The same is true for your marketing collateral. As I mentioned, companies are so tempted to throw all of the problem-solving spaghetti against the wall and just see what sticks. And that is absolutely the wrong way to break through the clutter and have your message heard. If you want to help your customers solve their problem, you have to know what it is, and it has to be really defined. Now, I know that you're going to take a look at your marketing collateral and say, Mandy, it is really defined. We take care of A and B and C and D, and that's how we define it. And I completely understand how you think that it's defined, but it isn't. Let me give you an example of how one company takes all of the problems that they solve and distills it down into one message. Are you familiar with financial coach and debt reduction guru Dave Ramsey? He's amazing, and his envelope debt reduction program has actually helped some of my very close friends pay off a ton of college loan and credit card debt. In addition to helping people solve their personal debt crisis, Dave also helps people with their insurance problem, and he has an insurance product he sells. And he helps them with their mortgage problem, and he also sells mortgages. So in addition to helping people put together and adhere to a personal debt reduction budget that he sells the formula to in his books, there are many other products he offers to solve many other money and debt-related issues. Dave seems to solve a lot of different problems. And so that he can use one memorable idea that covers all of the problems he solves, he came up with the one overarching problem that he uses the most. He helps people have financial peace. Think about it. Before someone figures out how to solve their financial issue, the first problem they have is a financial disaster. By turning that around to claim that he can help people have financial peace, he's letting them know that he understands where they are and that he can be the guide that can help them get there successfully. And to do that, he only speaks to one problem. So here's your Clear Vision 2020 tip for the day. Take some time to talk with your team about the one problem you're helping your client solve. Use this problem throughout all of your marketing messages and collateral. When you have thought deeply and brainstormed on the overarching problem that you are solving for your customers, even if you're using one of your 57 tools, those people will believe in their hearts that you can help them. And you'll start to establish a relationship that you can nurture and then deliver on. When in your marketing collateral, you clearly define the problem you're helping people solve, You enter into their story, and they begin to trust you and your business.